taking on a lot more snaps this season. What kind of pride do you take in that, and how do you think you contribute to the team?
Every game, I'm going out, doing my job and putting on the line for the guys I'm playing with. So that's my main thing. We have a real great bond as a team, and I'm just not, going out there not trying to let my guys down that's working hard every week with me.
KJ, a lot of the guys on defense that we talked to this week talked about the lack of communication being an issue last week, and that's been corrected. How do you go about doing that?
That's a simple thing for us, working it in practice. That's the easiest thing to do, working it out through the week. So over-communicating during the week, so when it comes to the game time, you're not running into that problem. It's not hard to do. So when you over-communicate during the week, communicating is no issue in the game.
When you have an off, Saturday like that, does that burn you to get back on the field again and show that this is the kind of defense that was an anomaly, sort of?
Yeah. We just, let that in the past. We came out with a win. That was the main focus, got out with a win. So now we're coming back this next week, trying to get back on track to, being a dominant defense, and that's our focus.
Is a lot of it a pride thing sometimes, too? Because you guys do take a lot of pride the way you shut teams down.
Yeah, we take a pride, anybody as a defense, your pride is, shut teams out, limit teams to anything. So we try to, help our offense out, put them in positions to be successful and things like that. So we put it all on us to put our offensive positions and, win the game and things like that.
Coach talks a lot about learning lessons without setbacks, meaning you don't have to lose to learn something. What did you learn about yourselves from the Indiana game?
Yeah, every week you have to bring that same intensity and same focus and same communication, things like that. You can't slack off any week, and I feel like, we learned that from this week. Anything happen against the team if you let them give them up certain things and certain gaps and plays like that. So, we learn from that, and now, either no matter who we're playing, we're going to attack it the same way and continue to get better.
Are you seeing that intensity of practice this week? Is it different than it was last week?
Yeah, I say both sides of the ball is different. We're competing every day. We're doing different competition periods coming down to the line. So the communication is better, everything. We're just a great competition all around.
Maryland's a team with a lot of athletes. So is it maybe a good thing that you kind of survived last week with those big plays, knowing you're going to get that from Maryland this week?
Yeah, it's a great thing. Great team, Maryland. So we're focused. We're making sure coming out, being on all our T's. So we leave those skillful guys out and free. If you give them anything, they're going to make the play. So we got to make sure we're on top of everything.
So you're a Maryland guy. What's it going to be like for you to go back, play in your home state? What's, the family turnout going to be this weekend?
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm very close with a lot of those Maryland players, Maryland coaches, things like that. I'm close with a lot of them. So it's going to be nice to, see them, because it's great sportsmanship and everything at the end of the day. But it's going to be great to compete with those guys I've been playing since I was a little kid. So it's going to be great to get back to that.
And why'd you go? Did you play at Maryland Stadium in the WCAC at all?
Not in the WCAC, but I did play when I was younger, like a young kid in the youth ball. Yeah.
And why'd you go here instead of there, despite going to the Math, which is like right down the street?
Yeah, my main thing, why I came to Penn State, that was the general thing, the honesty with Penn State. They were telling me everything, that was the real. I wasn't getting the same thing from other schools, telling me it's going to be this way and be that way. Penn State was telling me straight up, coming in, we got skillful guys. You have to work yourself into a spot, but we feel like you have the ability to do that. And if you do everything you're supposed to do, that's going to happen. So once they told me that, that's what I was looking for, that honesty piece and that difference. So that's why I chose Penn State, yep.
What's the identity of this Penn State defense this season?
Our identity, be the closers in the games. We developed that coming to the Rose Bowl, being the closers, no matter what it is, being able to finish a game for the team and finish on in our terms. So just being closers of the game.
Deny having that statement there at the end. Then what was that like for you guys to know that you ended it in a positive way?
Yeah, it felt great. Despite everything that happened in the game, our main thing was to finish on our terms like always. Every game's not gonna go perfect. You're going to face adversity, and our biggest thing was, facing adversity in that point. How are we going to respond to it? And, as a team, in coverage and things like that, we stayed tight in coverage and allowed Deny to get home and get the sack, and that was how we just responded, and we were happy about that.
How would you describe the relationship between you and the entire safeties room?
Yeah, we're real tight, everybody. No matter what, we're competing every day, but it's never, an envy or anything. It's always competing and having fun with each other at the end of the day, and we're just so happy for each other when guys go out there and make plays. We're always rooting for each other, so it's a great chemistry in that room.
What's the role that Coach Poindexter's had on you throughout the season?
Yeah, the role of Coach Poindexter, he's just telling me to go play the football I've been playing all my life. What I've been doing to get me here, just don't change anything about it. Keep working towards what I've been doing, be myself, and just, keep doing what I'm doing.
What are the goals that you've set for yourself? How have you continued to improve and find consistency this season?
Really, my thing mainly through the season, it wasn't, making it about myself. It was like a team goal, coming out each week, making sure I'm giving the guys the right thing, communicating well, keeping control of the defense, things like that, coming out each week and putting it on the line for the guys and putting my other guys in position. So that was my main thing, just making sure everybody's on the same page and things like that. And then if the team has success, individual success comes with that. And as long as we're winning and being a successful defense, that's good with me.
What kind of goals does Manny give you guys for each week, or even specifically for this week against Maryland?
You said how many or what kind?
What kind?
Oh, just simply, going out there and being on our keys. His main thing is if we have our cleats set and we're, and where we're supposed to be in our coverages and things like that, like it's gonna be hard for teams to beat us. So that's our main thing, just doing what we're supposed to do. Teams are gonna make great plays and things like that, but we want to make sure that we're like contesting those great plays. And if they make the great play, it's like, okay, they made that play, just not giving guys anything. So that's the main goal, not giving people anything.
It seems like Jalen has taken a step forward this year on the field.
Yep.
What have you seen from him, and what does he bring to your room and to the defense as a whole?
Yeah, he took that, from that experience last year. You could tell he just took all that experience and just allowed him to play more comfortable this year and learning and seeing things differently. Like, he sees the game so much differently than it did last year. So I just feel like, that's what's taking him another step. Like, he's saying certain things faster than he used to. So it's allowing him to make plays on the ball just like he did on an interception. That was an instinct play. Any guy could have been in there where they were supposed to be. He, came out of his coverage because it was an instinct play and made a play on the ball and things like that. So, once you get to that point of experience and understanding the game, it allows you to flourish.
What were some of the lessons that you learned last year that you kind of worked on this offseason to kind of implement and change this year?
Yeah, I learned a lot from the older guys. I was just playing special teams, which also played a big role in why I'm allowed to play how I do now. But, just learning from the older guys, little things they had and tweaks they had to put into their game and things like that. So they communicated all the time with me. They were treating me just like I was one of them. So just being around those guys, Jair Brown and all the guys that's here now, Jay Reed, Keaton, Zaki, just being around them, I learned so much.
What's the biggest challenge in facing a quarterback with athleticism like Tagovailoa this weekend?
I think the biggest challenge is, great quarterback that can, he can also throw the ball. It makes it hard in coverage. Sometimes he can turn, we're in coverage, he can extend the play and stand in coverage with that and things like that and make sure we contain him. But that's where he causes problems, extending plays and things like that, But if we just have to be stay disciplined, stand on man, plaster the guys when he does scramble and things like that, and try to contain him as much as we can, and that's the main goal.
And I'm asking just because I don't know, how much time do you spend actually working directly with the cornerbacks and Coach Terry Smith?
Pretty much every day. We took a different step with it this year because we wanted to be even closer than we were before, and just being on the same page with everything. Because as long as we're the back end of everything, if it gets past us, it's a problem. So we try to make sure we're all on the same page no matter what it is. And yeah, we kind of got together a lot this year.
How do you see that dynamic working between Coach Dex, Coach Terry Smith, and how has Coach Terry Smith maybe helped your game at all?
Yeah, Coach Terry Smith, he helped my game a lot. Seeing it from a corner's point of view and things like that. They're going about everything a different way than we are. They're on an island by themselves, and understanding like how we can help them out in certain situations, and when they are out there, the communication piece and everything. So him giving that to us, it allows us to play more comfortable with each other and being around each other and things like that. So it helps a lot.
When you have a teammate like Zaki who has a bit of a rough outing on Saturday, how do you as a room kind of go to pick them up? What's that like during film review on Sunday, I guess?
Yeah, we're playing a very skillful, a lot of guys, great team like Indiana, coming out each week. You never know what'll happen, and sometimes, adversity hits. It's just, keeping them up on his feet, because at any point that could be you. No matter how good you are, somebody's going to get the best of you at one point. So it's just making sure he stays up and understand that next play mentality, can't do nothing about that. Control what you can control and just keeping him up on his feet.
How have you seen him respond this week?
Yeah, he's been the film room, working his man covers, working everything, and just attacking things at a different level. Nothing new than what he normally does, but you could tell that different focus and level of like he's trying to get it back and get back onto it. So yeah.
Who's the hardest super to cover in practice besides Keandre, and why?
You said who's the hardest?
Yeah.
Honestly, it goes on from Keandre, Trey Wallace, Caden Saunders, Lynn Clifford. I honestly don't have who's the hardest, but it's hard to say who's the hardest. They all present different kinds of things. Like Caden, quick, twitchy, Liam and getting to his route. Keandre, sudden speed, different things like that. Cephas, all this like that. All of them are hard to cover, and they present that challenge every day in practice. So when we get to the game, it's nothing new to what we're seeing.
Devon Elise is a guy that is an emotional leader on this team. How has he helped you develop over the course of the past 2 years?
Yeah, I grew up with Devon Elise, so having that connection with him before I even got here, he was, telling me what I needed to hear and giving me the things I needed to hear before I got here. So, having him around, having somebody like that you consider your brother and seeing how he attacks the game and how much emotion he has for the game, it just encourages you to have the same and, follow his lead. So, yeah, having Devon lead is great.
How much do you think that you having a prior relationship with Devon, because I also went to DeMatha,
Yep.
how much does that help guys, coming in up from Maryland, when there's already a group of you here?
Yeah, when you see a guy that you grew up with doing it at a high level and things like that, it shows you that you can do the same thing. And then when you see how they bring you in with open arms and things like that, it makes it a lot more comfortable coming out and just playing the football you've been playing all your life, and it just makes the whole process a lot easier.
You talked about your why you came to Penn State. What's the appeal in general for a Maryland kid to come to Penn State?
What do you mean, like appeal? Like
why would a Maryland kid consider Penn State versus the
Well, I mean, honestly, that like I said, the honesty part and the family oriented team, and a lot of guys could just throw that family word out there, just just saying, oh, we're a family. But I think it really means something here. Coach Franklin cares about everyone like they're his sons, and it's just like a great environment, great people everywhere. Like I say this since I got here, I don't know, I haven't found one person in the building that I feel like, I don't really like that person, or I'm not really close to that person, I'm not comfortable. Like everybody, wherever I go, I feel like they're family. And I think that's the main part, when you're leaving your family at home and coming to a new school in a place like the college, which is probably some of the hardest adjustments of people's lives, you want to be around people that's like family oriented and family like. So that's the closest thing to family. So I think Penn State is the place.
Before you get to the relationships, though, what gets you in the door? Like why?
Yeah, like I said, when you during the recruiting process, you see a side that, you don't see from me. I seen a side that I didn't see from other schools. Like it got away from the recruiting piece, and it was like getting to know me as a person and things like that. It wasn't talking about football, it was talking about life and how's everything going. And then once you see that, it builds that connection aside from football, which makes it even easier when it comes to football to be, around these people and play the sport you love.
How has the family oriented kind of, ability kind of helped you be more confident this year?
Yeah, because it trickles on from, when the coaches and everybody it's been around the building, it trickles on down to the players. So then you have guys who you feel like your brother's always around you throughout the day. You're spending time, like even on the team, I know everybody on the team, and I'm close with everybody on the team. It's just a lot easier to go out here and then work hard and push, sweat and blood and tears with these guys, knowing that you can depend on this guy and things like that. So when it comes to game time, they're gonna have your back, and I'm have your back.